Let's get real for a minute. Love is supposed to be the one thing in life that makes us feel safe, cherished, and understood. We grow up hearing stories about soulmates and happy endings, believing that love is a shelter from the storms of life. But what if the very person you trust most becomes the source of your deepest fear? We all want to believe that love is a safe harbor, but for too many, the person who says "I love you" is the greatest threat. The words that should bring comfort can sometimes mask a much darker reality. The very relationship that should be comforting can become a ticking time bomb. The anxiety builds slowly, and the warning signs are often easy to dismiss at first. Every day, people are hurt or even killed by someone they once trusted. The statistics are staggering, and behind every number is a real person whose life was forever changed. This isn't a rare movie plot. It's happening in your neighborhood. It could be your friend, your neighbor, or even someone in your own family. The most dangerous time for a woman in an abusive relationship is often when she tries to leave. That moment of courage can be met with the most extreme risk. We're not talking about a simple breakup. This is about control, obsession, and a total breakdown of respect. It's about someone who refuses to let go, no matter the cost. Love doesn't hurt, control, or kill. Real love lifts you up. It doesn't tear you down or make you afraid. What we're dealing with is a toxic obsession masquerading as love. It's a dangerous illusion that can trap anyone, regardless of age, background, or status. These situations don't start with violence. They start small, with intense affection or protectiveness. It can feel flattering at first, like someone finally sees you, but soon, the affection turns into control. The lines blur so slowly that by the time you realize you're trapped, it's almost too late. The walls close in, and your world gets smaller and smaller. Manipulators are often charming, making you feel like you're the problem. They twist reality, making you doubt your own instincts and memories. They chip away at your self-esteem and isolate you. Friends and family drift away, leaving you more vulnerable and alone. We have to stop romanticizing jealousy and possessiveness. They're dangerous precursors to violence. These aren't signs of passion, they're red flags. The person you love should be your safest place, not your biggest fear. Love should never make you feel like you're in danger. If you're walking on eggshells, that's not a relationship. It's a hostage situation. No one deserves to live in fear of the person they love. The stakes are just too high to ignore the truth. It's time to recognize the warning signs, speak up, and support those who need help. Love should heal, not harm. How does love turn into a nightmare? It's a slow descent. At first it feels like passion and attention, but soon, that attention becomes suffocating. Healthy love gives you space. Obsession wants to consume you. It starts with small demands. Check in with me, or those friends aren't good for you. Each time you give up a bit of independence, you slide further down the slope. The next phase is isolation, cutting you off from friends and family. The goal is to make you dependent, the only voice you hear. When you're isolated, you lose perspective and become easier to control. Eventually, your life is dictated by their moods and demands. The relationship becomes a dictatorship, not a partnership. Affection turns into manipulation. This isn't a sudden change, it's a gradual erosion of your identity. That's what makes it so dangerous and hard to escape. Think this is rare? The numbers say otherwise. The reality is, domestic violence is far more common than most people realize. 1 in 4 women and nearly 1 in 10 men have experienced violence or stalking by an intimate partner. These aren't just statistics, they represent real people from all walks of life whose stories often go unheard. This is happening to people you know, family, friends, neighbors. It's not limited to any one community, age group, or background. Abuse hides in plain sight behind closed doors and polite smiles. About half of all female homicide victims in the US are killed by a current or former partner. That's a staggering, heartbreaking reality that demands our attention. For many women, the most dangerous person in their life is the man who claims to love them. The threat often comes from someone they trust, not a stranger in the dark. Controlling obsessive behavior is not just a quirk, it can be a warning sign of lethal violence. When someone tries to control who you see, where you go, or what you do, it's not love, it's a red flag. The risk often escalates when the victim tries to leave. Leaving is often the most dangerous time, as abusers may feel their control slipping away and lash out. Stalking is a huge red flag. Over 75% of intimate partner homicide victims were stalked before being killed. Stalking is about power and control, and it's a clear sign that the situation could turn deadly. Stalking isn't romantic, it's a rehearsal for violence. It's a pattern of behavior that escalates, often with tragic consequences. These statistics are a wake-up call, not just numbers. They're a warning that we can't afford to ignore, a signal that urgent action is needed. We can't afford to ignore the warning signs. Every statistic is a person, a life forever changed or lost. The sweet-talking partner who's too jealous could be the start of a deadly pattern. What begins as possessiveness can quickly spiral into something much more dangerous. The numbers don't lie, they tell a story of pain and loss happening every day. Behind every statistic is a family, a community, left to pick up the pieces. Ignoring these facts is like ignoring a fire alarm. The danger doesn't go away just because we pretend not to hear it. It's time to pay attention. By recognizing the signs and speaking up, we can help save lives and change the story for the better. How do you spot danger before it's too late? The first step is learning to trust your instincts. If something feels off, don't ignore that feeling. Our intuition often picks up on subtle cues before our minds can process them. Learn to recognize the red flags. These warning signs can be subtle at first, but they often escalate over time. Being aware can help you act before things get worse. Extreme jealousy is the first. Accusations, interrogations, and constant suspicion. It's not about love or concern, it's about control and insecurity. Demands to see your phone, read your messages, or know your passwords are clear signs of overstepping boundaries. It's about control, not love. Next is controlling behavior, criticizing your clothes, dictating what you wear, or making you feel ashamed of your choices. They may try to control who you see, friends or family, your money, even your location. This can happen slowly, until you realize your freedom is slipping away. A healthy partner wants you to be independent. They celebrate your growth and support your connections outside the relationship. A controller wants to clip your wings. Isolation is another tactic, slowly separating you from friends, family, and anyone who might help. Cutting you off from your support system leaves you feeling alone and vulnerable, making it harder to reach out for help. They'll make you feel guilty for seeing friends or family, until you're completely dependent on them for emotional support and validation. Once you're isolated, you're easier to manipulate. Watch for volatility, extreme mood swings, sudden rage, or unpredictable outbursts. They may blame you for their anger, making you feel responsible for their emotions and actions. This keeps you on edge, constantly anxious, and afraid of triggering another outburst. You find yourself always trying not to set them off, sacrificing your own comfort and happiness. These aren't signs of passionate love, they're signs of dangerous obsession and unhealthy attachment. Ignore them at your own peril. The consequences can be serious, even life-threatening. Recognizing these red flags can save your life. Trust yourself, seek support, and remember, you deserve respect and safety. Don't mistake control for care. True love empowers, it never imprisons. How does obsession escalate to violence? It's a calculated progression. It starts with psychological abuse, insults, threats, manipulation. By the time physical violence begins, the victim often believes it's their fault. The abuser tests boundaries, grabbing, blocking, throwing objects. If you stay or make excuses, it gives them permission to go further. The cycle repeats, tension builds, violence erupts, then comes the honeymoon phase, apologies, gifts, promises to change. This gives victims hope, but it's a trap. The violence usually gets worse. The ultimate act of control is homicide. If I can't have you, no one can. This mindset is the terrifying endpoint of unchecked obsession. Understanding this progression is critical. It's not random anger, it's a campaign of control. Recognize the cycle before it's too late. Your safety depends on it. When deadly obsession claims a life, the tragedy ripples far beyond the victim. Children who witness or lose a parent to violence are left with lifelong scars, anxiety, depression, and trust issues. Families are shattered, haunted by grief and guilt, forever missing a loved one. Communities lose a sense of safety. Friends and co-workers feel the loss deeply. The story becomes a dark chapter, a cautionary tale. Even the perpetrator's family suffers, facing shame, stigma, and their own grief. There are no winners here. A single act of violence creates a vortex of pain that pulls everyone down. The trauma can last for generations. We must remember, the impact of domestic violence is never isolated. It devastates everyone in its orbit. That's why prevention matters. Why does this matter to everyone? Because silence is a killer. Ignorance lets abuse fester until it explodes into tragedy. Awareness is the first step to prevention. Knowing the red flags empowers you to protect yourself and others. You can be the lifeline for someone in trouble. Your support could save a life. A public understanding of abuse shifts blame from victims to abusers. Leaving is the most dangerous time for a victim. We must support, not judge. Creating a community that doesn't tolerate abuse makes everyone safer. Teaching healthy relationships and holding abusers accountable builds a better world. This isn't someone else's problem, it's a societal illness. Paying attention is a moral responsibility. Your awareness and action can mean the difference between life and death. So what's the solution? It starts with education. Teaching young people what healthy relationships look like. Mutual respect, trust, and autonomy are key. Early education gives kids the tools to reject controlling behavior. For those in danger, accessible resources are critical. Shelters, hotlines, legal aid. Supporting these organizations saves lives. Intervention matters. Friends and family must reach out safely, offer support, and help victims find resources. Don't confront the abuser. Be a safe presence for the victim. Your validation can be the light they need. The legal system must take abuse seriously. Enforce restraining orders. Hold offenders accountable. Abusive behavior is a crime, not a private matter. Breaking the cycle requires education, support, intervention, and accountability. It's a complex problem, but a coordinated response can save lives. We all have a role to play. Together, we can make a difference. Let's bring it home. Deadly obsession is a preventable pattern, not a force of nature. The key to stopping it is awareness, yours. Stop excusing jealousy and control as love. Call them what they are. Warning signs. Love should make you feel safe and free, not scared or small. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. You have the power to protect yourself and be a beacon for others. Don't be a bystander. Your concern and support can be the catalyst for change. You don't need all the answers, just the willingness to care. The stakes are too high to stay silent. Get educated, get engaged, and speak out. Awareness is your shield and your power. Use it. Your action can save a life.